Patty, what's interesting is I was in Boston yesterday speaking to a large group of women who were in this case, our world of marketing and advertising. Many were entrepreneurial. And what they took away was interesting. It wasn't the usual, even the big things we're talking about. They said, I have never heard anyone say to me that I do not have to be at work the person I am at home. And it blew my mind away. And over they told me this. And what I had referred to is a part of the book, On the Way to Other Things, and it is that, remember, in order not to carry forward all the expectations that people have about us women, you know, being motherly and
nurturers, which we are.
We are, and kind-hearted and team makers and so on. These are actually beautiful traits. You do want people like that around you. But it allows the men not to choose you as a leader because it doesn't translate as strength and resilience and ferocity when needed. So when women are then accused of being, you know, mommy to the company, and she wants to show her resistance to that idea, she tends to get disproportionately passionate.
Right.
Disagrees, yells, creates a scene. And instead, all this time, she should have been channeling that energy and passion toward what she believes in and what needs to be done. So you need to learn how to channel that so that people don't have the privilege of interpreting you to you.
I think part of that misconception is that you think the louder you get, and the more, right? That the more people are going to take you seriously, or the more, quote, male-like you behave.
Oh, good
right?
point. Yeah.
Then someone's going to say, wow, she's strong. But in many cases, it's a turn-off to people. And then, you know, to me, it's more about speaking with firm conviction, which is very difficult sometimes for us to do.
Well, I think if you went below that comment, and that's what I'm trying to do, get underneath these pictures we have of one another. The reason shouting or having a hissy fit doesn't work is because it isn't disciplined enough and you're taking on the mannerisms of someone else. So a man might, not all men by any means, but one or two guys might be hammering on the desk and getting red in the face, and people pay attention. It's like the coach. It reminds them of their coach when they're in the 5th grade. Right. So there's respect for that. When a woman takes on the mannerisms of someone that's not herself, it looks as awkward and it looks mean-spirited because she's borrowing it. Now, how is she going to get belief in what she says? She has to stay with who she is long enough to know when it is unacceptable to her to have something happen. And then she can just turn and say, that's not acceptable to me. And believe me, they will listen.
I love that.
It's just not acceptable. And the room will say, huh? What do we do now? So you can understate it. My style was more to do that. But it's a style thing. You know, I went around calling men darling. I don't recommend that necessarily because I wanted to break the formality of the company so that I could get them to hear new things.
Well, and you were doing this at a time when you were truly on
the
your
only
own.
Woman.
You were the only one.
Well, you know, I think that's an advantage I had, oddly enough, because after all, there were no prototypes. So they'd say, you know, she seems to be, I mean, one minute she's flirting with me and the next minute she's demanded something I can't do or something like that. I don't really know how it was to receive. But what happens with women today, because we're so politically correct, which has helped us a lot, many of us, in terms of how to behave with one another, it has created a distance between men and women at work, because the guys at the top don't want to go anywhere near a personal, pseudo-intimate relationship, but they do have one with their guys. So if you're in the position of trying to pick and estimate the potential of someone, which is guessing about the future, what does he know about her potential? He doesn't know her well enough. He doesn't know her gut reaction. He doesn't know, as men say, they learn from taking a long, slow walk together, which they call golf. They learn, that's how they learn about who they are. And they judge, you know, men always tell me the character is read in the golf game. I have no idea how, I never was on the course. I was waiting for them to all come back. But women have to, as a result of that, the answer isn't to take up golf unless you just wanted to. The answer is to say to that guy at the top, this is who I am. This is what I'm capable of. Now that's challenging. That's why you have to be a great communicator.
Right, right. And also it, you know, it lends itself to, or it mirrors the kind of business relationships that are practiced all the time in Japan, where they're more inclined to speak with a new person that they're just interviewing, getting to know. They want to talk about family first, which is more of a women's type of thing anyway. That a lot of times we can have a business meeting with somebody and we can talk about a sick child, and we're in most cases reading the situation. You can breeze over those things and then get into business. But I think that getting to know one another, that is very much practiced with Japan. If you're doing business with them, they want to know first, how's your family? What are you doing? And then they judge your character based on the conversation, and then they get into the business part of things.
I don't know about you, but I always wondered what people meant when they said, don't lose your power, or you just left your power. I think, where is his power? And I've taken a long time looking back over my career to understand that the power keg is inside you. It is what you care deeply about, what matters most. And in work, it's very easy to subsume your own important personality to the work. That's the biggest trap women get into. It's not about the work. It's about the relationships you build, the way you deliver the work, the means by which you get the work used and appreciated. It's all within your hands in terms of how you deliver it. There are hundreds of beautiful ideas lost every day. There are thousands of small companies that don't succeed. So what it rests in is your ability to understand yourself so well. You offer your true self to someone in building a relationship that overwhelms and expands the work itself. So I think the most tempting thing is to understand that it's not your product or your work or even your mastery of the work. It is that you're walking in such an authentic way. It worries me when women say, I don't exactly know what my passion is. Inexcusable.
Yeah.
I mean, I fell in love with and began to understand. I didn't want to be in advertising without understanding why I cared about it. And it was very helpful to have people attacking me all the time about being in the ad business. And I thought, wait a minute, I love ideas. When you're in the room in an advertising agency, the idea is premier. It was very exciting. It's not the titles, it's not the people, it's the power of the thinking. And then I remember a man saying, he's not very polite, but he said, at the agency, he said to the client, we are people you can't hire with ideas you couldn't have. Of course, that was fairly insulting, but the idea is, do you understand where you are in the stream of the workplace and why it's uniquely good for you? And therefore, that becomes part of your power. So I always was mad about the work I did. I actually know a lot of women who feel that way. They love their work, but they don't explain it, share it, and make it part of who they are.
Well, excellent advice, all. Thank you so much for taking
Pattie.
the time to share this with WomenCentric and with all the readers and viewers that were going to be watching this. We really, really appreciate it.
Well, tell every one of you, I have this one last message. I'd rather you be in charge, in the sense that you're very clear on who you are, you know exactly what you have to offer, and you have learned to present it beautifully.